Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Brightworks and another match of Beyond All Reason, where today we will be taking a look at a game that was played on Forge. Yeah, Forge, the volcano map, laden with metal all over the place in this low ground here and strewn with resources up on the high ground as well. It's an action-packed map full of resources for these commanders to take advantage of, with high-value metal yield in the middle, geothermal vents all over the place, as well as this cluster of 5 early geos for the 2 commanders spawning on the front line. It's an action-packed map, and today, spawning on the very front line, spawning as the red commander, spawning in what is arguably the hardest but also most important position on this map. It's a commander that goes by the name of Rompy. Rompy coming in at 35 open skill and going to be hailing with silver chevrons as well, and I did take a look at this on stream a while back as well. This is 1,000 hours of gameplay. I believe this one is 500, the bronze with the silver tail. The full silver is 1,000 hours of gameplay, though. Gives you a little bit of perspective for how many hours some of these commanders may or may not have put into the game as they have those ranks. But anyway, spawning on the other side of the map is the blue team's leader, commander that goes by the name of Jamakis. Going to be playing as a Cortex commander right now and going to be pumping out some of those Cortex bots. Bots obviously a prominent choice right here because you can go for those res bots. You can go ahead and pump out. Is this a new song, by the way? It absolutely is. Awakened Subroutine. I don't recognize that one. I like it. Bots. Sorry, I'm a fan of a killer soundtrack. That's one of the things that definitely sells a game to me, is how good the soundtrack is. One of the reasons why I love bars so much. It seems like just about every song that they have in their current default playlist is a banger. How many of you knew, by the way, that you could also add songs to the playlist in case you wanted to? You can actually go add songs directly to a folder in your bar files and actually just play whatever music you want while you're playing a game of bar. It's pretty fun. Anywho. Resbots. Resbots are the name of the game, and you can see immediately Jamak is pumping 2 of those bad boys out and getting them out on the field to eat up a bunch of these crystals and stimulate the energy economy quite rapidly. Now, I'm surprised to see that we went for vehicles here for Rompy. It is Armada vehicles, so that's a little bit of a saving grace. Those Armada vehicles are very powerful, but is it going to be good enough to offset the extreme benefit of having a bunch of those Resbots? Well, it's not like you couldn't take a bunch of construction vehicles as well and just send them around to reclaim things, but they are a little bit more expensive and a little bit slower. Just doesn't feel quite as efficient. I will say, though, with 4.0 metal extractors and plenty of them to boot, it's certainly going to be a benefit to the Red Commander to have a way to spend that metal, and obviously the best way to spend metal is to dump it into tanks. Medium tanks are certainly a viable spend. 225 metal for a very beefy boy, 1,780 metal. Quite a powerful unit. Certainly very, very useful, and for the amount of HP that you get relative to the metal cost, very efficient for the early game. Bartender, love that name, going to be taking a little bit of damage here on the northern high ground as well, and this game is already off to a rocketed start. A couple of rovers in the backline here. Xenozocker, the hot pink commander here for the red team, has a couple of rovers in the backline, completely APM stalled though, probably could have killed the mechs and maybe even a couple of solar panels here, but instead Turp King is going to get to him with the commander, blast them down before they can do any damage whatsoever. Aggression is still high on the front lines right now as the tank commander Tortoise is also pushing forward with a couple of grunts, but right now mostly all of that is going to be deflected by Zek, the green commander here on the blue side. A couple of grunts sneaking through into the backline here. They were taking advantage of the hot pink commander's distractedness on the front here to sneak those grunts into the back, and now they're going to find the base right here of Zoidy, the maroon commander, and just like that, grunts managed to snag a kill on a metal extractor and continue blasting away to try and kill some of these other wind turbines and solar panels and other stuff as well. There we go. Zoidy finally notices and starts to clean this up, but already the damage has been done, and my goodness, for 36 metal apiece, killing solar panels, metal extractors, wind turbines, all of that and some more. Definitely an extremely valuable, extremely efficient opener right here for the blue commander. Lovely stuff. That pulls the reinforcing forces off this front line, means that that's raises to the powder blue commander with the problematic name going to be holding the front line with compound 116. Are both going to have a nice and easy time on the fronts. Yeah, it's just them up against the frontliner here. And of course, with no support from the back yet, as you can see, every single unit moving forward right now to try and catch that one stray grunt. Ugh, what a troublemaker. That one grunt causing so many problems right now for the red team. Jamak is in a little bit of trouble here. A blitz run by does force the blue commander to respond, but it looks like with support from the green as well. Aphis Master, the green commander, the 16 open skill, single chevron, brand new hero, Aphis Master, going to be having more than a fabulous time dealing with a whole bunch of those with some of those pawns. Janus tank already out and running. Meanwhile, on the front lines, we've devolved already into rocket warfare. You can see River Run going for some of those ticks, but Zek more than happy to just go ahead and pump out as many of these aggregator as possible. Spending the metal is the name of the game, and right now, Zek going to be spending it on some very, very efficient rocket bots. Yeah, there they go. Blasting down those LLTs, denying any of the static defense that River Run is trying to set up right here. He wants to get a big surround with a bunch of these ticks, but of course, with the LLT support here from Zek, it only takes 1 or 2 blasts from an LLT in order to kill a tick. It means that this is going to be more than possible to maintain. Oh, interesting. The commander can out-heal a LLT if it's building a beholder there. Huh. The more you know. Yeah, ticks without really any option to jump on top of this right here. River Run going into some Rocketeers here, but a little bit slower on it. We do have Geothermals coming up in the background already. We already have the Geothermals basically built right now for the blue commander, though. Yeah, you can see all 3 of those Geothermals have been built, and we're going to pivot immediately into a whole bunch of E-converters. Lovely stuff. Jamak is showing us why he's so high on the leaderboard here. 43 open skill, and going to be pumping out a killer economy very, very quickly into this match. We've got aggravators up on the front line, supported also by a bunch of pawns. I believe those pawns were handed over by the green commander. Yeah, indeed. Aphis Master handing over all the units to the blue commander to just have them all microed by one person individually. Typically speaking, that's the right move. Having one person control the front line while another person focuses on the back line, usually more efficient because you want to have all the units fighting at the same time, and it's easier for one person to coordinate that. Problem right here that Rompy's running into is actually a vision range issue. You can see that this heavy laser tower actually doesn't have range all the way out to the end of its radius. One way you can fix that is just by throwing down a single radar tower directly behind the heavy laser tower. Obviously prone to explosions if anything should shoot at it, but it will provide enough vision here in order for the heavy laser tower to actually reach its maximum range. Very important to remember to do that, because otherwise you're wasting valuable square footage on that heavy laser tower that you could otherwise be denying. In this case, maybe even might be able to pop that metal extractor. Southern side of the map in a lot of trouble here. Zek continuing to push forward. Well, trouble for the blue team, or trouble for the red team, I should say. Zek feeling fabulous about this push, I'm sure. Already has a couple of pop-up Dragon's Maw, the flamethrower turrets, firing away at whatever they can over here. They slightly outrange the rocket bots, so it means that they are able to, fire away at these. Ooh, so much damage. A really, really valuable static defense right here. Tons of rocket bots available now for River Run. But at this point, this is a really dangerous situation. Yeah, already pushed off the 4.0 metal extractor, and with a killer surround potential available here, if we carve down this southern side, suddenly this could look really, really bad for the red team. Now the Maroon Commander has begun sending reinforcements up to the northern side. The metal extractor already denied by this heavy laser tower up here on the northern side means that also this lane is won right here nicely by the blue team. So far this game, the blue team leading with a significant map advantage right here. Also an economic advantage of about 10%. More or less dependent on reclaim as always, but certainly very, very valuable. Advanced Geo coming up right here. Always a little worrisome when I see these advanced Geos. I think I would probably go for a Prude, but right here the red commanders figures, hey, I've been a little bit behind this entire time. Maybe it's worth it to just go ahead and go for some of that higher quality eco-scaling, maybe a little bit of a risk it for the biscuit sort of situation. Hopefully this advanced geothermal plant pumping out 1,250 energy per second will be enough to revitalize the economy right here of the blue team, or of the red commander. Meanwhile, on the backline, still base geos right here for Dramakis, going into a whole bunch of T1 E-converters as well. Still in the back over here, we are hitting that limit right there where we're basically on the edge of the amount that we need to start converting, so we can stop that production, but at the very least, getting these T2 mexes up and running as well, pumping out 16 metal per second. My goodness. Going to be a fabulous boost to the economy. Already a couple of Sheldons out here as well to start blasting down some of these static defenses. The LLT will be the first thing to go, but all of this is void, as those Sheldons have quite a tremendous range. More than enough range to deal with anything out of a T1 defensive setup here. T2 Constructor handed over to the pink commander on the northern side right here. Meanwhile, on the southern side, again, the force is pushed all the way back right now for the red team. Slowly but surely losing ground, and it's the kind of insidious slow building match that can, or slow building push that can eventually overwhelm you. It's insidious because it looks like it's nothing for the longest time, and then slowly but surely you lose 100, 500, 1,000, 10,000 metal, and you find yourself well behind in the match overall. Right now you can see that eco-scaling hitting the fields. Well, okay, there we go. As it's rebounding back and forth, but about a 20 to 30% advantage right now for the blue team in the metal department. Getting T2s up and running should be able to equalize that somewhat, though. Yeah, there you go. You can see those very precious 16 metal per second metal extractors coming up right here, as well as the AGO, very helpful for setting up a whole bunch of this stuff. Getting that AMEX up and running, going to be the primary solution right now. Yeah. Looks like the Spybot went down. I saw a Spybot over here for the blue commander, but it did fall eventually. Your Sheldon, though, still blasting away from long range. And eventually the defenses are whittled down to the point that the blue commander pulls the trigger right alongside Well, I guess both the blue commanders, yeah. Jumping on top of the red army right here. Robbie in a tricky situation. A couple of pawns pulled from the northern side, going to try and be a rapid response team. Still, this is T1, T2 in a mixed composition. We do have a bull coming out to the front line, and the bulls do have quite a lot of fire range, and they do wonderfully against those T1, even against the T2, really. Yeah, there we go. Getting some heavy hits in against a bunch of those Sheldon, and my goodness, it liquidates those Sheldon in a matter of 3 or 4 blasts. Beautifully done. A single bull pushing back so many of these T1 forces just like that. The AoE on the bull's attack is devastating, especially to a bunch of clumped up T1 bots like that. You have to be careful because this bull needs to stay alive. It's the only thing really holding this front line together. Jamak has taken some damage here as well, down to 74%. Second bull hits the field. And with 2 of them, the efficiency is doubled. And it's going to be very difficult to push forward now. Very expensive at the very, very least. T2 mechs now up and running, so those bulls will be rolling out of that lab a little bit quicker. Bulls demand a massive cost, but for that cost you do get a devastating unit, especially against T1, but even against T2. An extremely, extremely powerful piece of kit. Massive push from the yellow commander, though, has pushed all the way back into the green base right now. The hounds, as well as the rocket spiders, which I suspect were utilized for crawling up and over this hillside, have pushed all the way to the heart of green production right now. The build power goes down. The advanced geo moments away from completion, 89-90% of the way done. Rocket Spider's looking for every opportunity that they can find. Rapid response right here from Jamak is sending forces on down to the southern side, diverting that force to try and help out his green commander to his south side here. D-guns from the green and purple commanders carve up some of those Rocket Spiders, and eventually this push is nicely deflected here. Bulls still causing problems on the front, though. Yeah, and the longer those bulls go on trading right here, the worse and worse it's going to be. Jamak is already blasted so low by just a few shots from those bulls. So dangerous, those heavy tanks. Man. Rip and tear until it is done. That's the motto of those heavy tanks. Whoa, Jamak catches one of them. 950 metal, poof, into thin air, just like that. Pawns now rushing the defenses here. Feels like deja vu, like we just saw this happen in the other color, or the other direction out of the other color here. But there go the pawns running forward. T2 metal extractor is denied here as well, and the jammer also under a lot of fire here. T1 and T2 going to be more than enough to clean this up for the blue team. Definitely expensive though. Yeah, and those bulls, the longer those bulls trade out, the better here. Lightning tank's going to be quite good as well. Mounted defense is sturdy enough to hold on over here. We need to get these metal extractors up and running. T2ing these metal extractors should be top priority right now for the yellow commander, the yellow and hot pink commanders. If we can T2 up these metal extractors, I think this is going to be a fabulous situation right now for the red team. Yeah, they've definitely got a massive advantage. Now, are the air players planning anything? Usually one of the few ways that you can, or one of the primary ways that you can end this game is by sending a bombing run over this hill and into directly the face of one of these advanced geothermal plants. Advanced geothermal plants, highly explosive, as you can see. That is the explosive radius right there. A full power explosion, I believe all the way out into the edge of that radius, means that anything within the vicinity will be turned to ash and dust. Full advanced geothermals for everybody over here, my goodness. Makes me nervous. Makes me very nervous to see all this, but hey, it does provide a whopping nearly 4,000 energy worth of production right there. Very, very tempting. The greed. Jamak is still in trouble. Yeah, that commander might be cloaked, but the bulls have enough AoE that even if they don't hit you directly, the impulse AoE from their effect is still enough to do quite a lot of damage. Yeah, they have to be careful about that commander, though. Oh, and there it goes, 8%. Oh, very, very low right there for the blue commander, forced to come off the front lines. Sumo's going to be waddling their way forward right here, as well as a couple of bot labs. It looks like we're going to be spamming grunts forward right now to try and deal with all this. Grunts definitely not the worst idea here. Those lightning tanks are going to be quite good for dealing with them, but the bulls definitely struggle a little bit. Powder blue commander going down right now. Ooh, 59%, 44%, down to just 40. And the bulls are going on a tear. We need to do nearly 3,000 metal worth of damage if we want to justify the cost of these bulls being sunk right here. One of the easiest ways to do that, of course, would be to just kill the T2 lab. Don't think it's going to happen, though. Those bulls do manage to kill the T2 con, which is very annoying. Not the end of the world, though. Sumo's on the front to hold the line. Starlight up and available here, also blasting away at whatever it can. Hey, not bad at all. There we go. Starlight shooting across the gap over here. I actually like that quite a bit. Yeah, I'd love to see it parked over here to actually blast down some of those static defenses. Because why not? Yeah, might as well utilize that very long-range and pencil-necked laser beam spewing. Felt like the Scotsman going on a rampage right there. Anyways, anybody know what reference I'm making right there? I'll leave it to somebody in the comments to explain. Starlight self-destruct right there. A little bit of self-destruct micro on those very expensive laser giraffes. Mobile tachyon weapon, the Starlight, does go down in an explosive blue and yellow burst. Yeah, these Starlights are quite good though. Gonna be perfect for dealing with the sumo, of course. Well, if they can connect, that is. I suppose there's a prerequisite there. I don't mind the Starlights, but I think we're gonna need lightning tanks. Yeah, just the good old-fashioned grunt spam. Short, sweet, and very, very simple, but more than enough to do a ton of damage over here. Tearing apart this front line, blasting down all that build power right here, causing problems for everyone. Oh, this build power is all chained back to this lab back here, so it's having trouble helping with all the construction. What a bummer. That's probably the most common miss micro I see in this game. Above and beyond all else, it's probably the most common thing that I see people do. They select their thing and hit Control Z to select everything, and then they click on one thing, and then all of a sudden all this build power is locked onto a laboratory that it actually can't assist with. One of those things that feels like should just be an adjustment to the AI, the way that the AI handles that. Like if the thing that they're latched onto is out of range, they just delatch. Feels like something somebody might write a tweak units for, or not tweak units, might write a widget for, and then it makes it into base game. I imagine that'll happen some point or another. Shuriken are up in the air for the blue team. We also have a bunch of hounds here, but most importantly of all, we have this plasma geothermal here, the Cerberus cannon. The three-headed Cerberus cannon of doom, firing away a triple blast of heavy plasma round. It's I guess it's technically an LRPC. It's kind of like an LRPC. It has a massive range, but it also does produce energy, right? So it reduces, it costs energy to fire it, but it also produces energy when it's not firing. Makes for quite a stalwart defense. Very, very difficult to break through. An advanced exploiter coming up here as well. For 12,400 metal, you get a very sturdy defensive structure that also produces metal, and at 4 metal per second, make it 16 on a tier 2 metal extractor. Yeah, you're gonna be paying yourself back pretty quickly there, actually. Pitbull's doing good work, blasting away a bunch of these grunts right here. Persecutor cannon firing away though at a lot of the stuff that's just standing still over here. Yeah, Rocket Spider is definitely struggling to keep up with all this. Persecutor cannons, my goodness, getting so much value for the blue team. A spam of ticks now sprinting forward right now. We do have quite a few Starlights built up here as well. Starlight's definitely one of those units that you can scale into the late game and have a incredible effect with. Not a lot that can stand up to Starlight spam. They're just very expensive, and if you manage to get them up, then already certainly some issues have taken place for your opponent here. A self-destruct micro right there on that Fiend, by the way. Because it's going to get destroyed anyway, we may as well take as much value out of it as we can. AGOs all over the place. Man, it does make me nervous. Yeah, seeing the AGOs this close to a base like this, I think this one I would definitely go for Crude. Especially considering it's right next to your neighbor, right? Rompy not interested in safeguards though. Says full risk, full reward. Putting as many AGOs down as possible, and instead going to just go ahead and play it out as hard and as fast as possible. Yellow Commander does go down. Quaker's now firing away. Pardon me, not Quaker. Mauser, the Armada Quaker, firing off into the distance. Their little three tracks heavy plasma cannon. Overwhelmed by a simple grunt spam. Yeah. At this point in the game, the overwhelming grunt spam, this mountain's really getting in my way. My camera work is slipping because of this mountain. At this point in the game, the Mauser are really, yeah, they're not going to have much of an effect. They're just outranged by too much of the plasma cannonry. I want to say that yeah, there we go. T3 should be on its way very, very shortly here. Razorback blasting down that wall for some reason, killing its own unit in order to do it. Razorback's going to be a welcome addition to the front line here, but honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing a couple of Vanguard either. Vanguard quite expensive, clocking in at 3,300 metal. Not as expensive as a Razorback, but a little bit, I mean, basically the same cost. Yeah, 71,000 energy, so you pay a little more energy and a little less metal, but basically the same cost. For what you get, though, you can put one of those spider bots up on this hillside here and rain down death from above. And that can be a very effective strat on a map like this, especially when geothermals are so within reach from the mountain range over here. It certainly seems like a good possibility. Commando drops. Ooh, commando drops. Looks like Dog 1 is open, is going for some very cheeky plays here. The orange commander deciding to pivot hard into commandos. The Cortex... Gosh, what type of unit is this? Stealthy paratrooper bot. It's very strange. The commando has a couple of different things it can do. One of the things is it can build landmines. So the way that we usually see that done is it'll build landmines around a structure and then detonate them in order to do mass amounts of damage to a structure using its long-range build power and its little blaster beam. The other thing that commandos can do is that when they're in a transport, when the transport is shot down, they don't explode like most units do. They actually just plummet out of the sky and fall down to the ground, where they, then proceed to wreak havoc on whatever base they have suddenly landed in. Hey, there's a Vanguard walking out of the lab right here. Nicely done. Yeah, Yellow Commander, definitely on top of it. River Run knows what they're doing. Gonna be building some of those Vanguard and sending them on their way. T3 lab up and running, or about to be up and running right now for the Green Commander, Zek, who is going into a Cortex T3 lab. So we're gonna have access to Karganeth, we're gonna have access to Demons and Shiva, all sorts of good stuff like that. Karganeth definitely feel like a good option here, especially for shutting down the Vanguard. But it's always a matter of how many can you produce and how many can you put on the field. Karganeth are essentially the assault unit for Cortex. A lot of Cortex players will go for Shiva very often, but Karganeth really are where the money's at. Quite expensive, so it is a cost that you have to be comfortable sinking. Vanguard here not having a hard time finding targets at all, though. Mammoth, a pretty good one. Gosh, was that about 10% HP, maybe a little more? Very, very nicely done right there. Yep, Mammoth shut down nicely by the Razorbacks. Vanguard contributing a lot of sturdy firepower. Commandos flying forward, there they go, blasting down the base over here, my goodness. Beautiful push right now from the Orange Commander, sends the Commandos in to snipe the base right now with the Seafoam Green Commander. A whole bunch of fighters are pulled over this. Not sure why the fighters are being pulled. The Commandos already made it into the base. I'm not sure what the point of this is. Dogwood is open as the opportunity to steal the game right here. Oh, shurikens. Oh, no. Fighters in the air, at the very least, able to shoot down some of the shurikens. Yeah, those T1 Valiant are pretty good. In this case, actually a benefit that the Valiant are a little slower. It means they can fire out more shots. With the shuriken managed to paralyze so many of those commandos. What a bummer. Commandos 1,200 metal apiece, not an inexpensive investment at all. Very, very costly to invest in that many of them, only to be destroyed by a couple of shuriken in the backline. Definitely a bummer. Geothermal goes up. It's exactly what we expect as the geothermals start to fire away. Here we go. Vanguard now firing into the backline, though. Geothermal, boom, goes the entire back line of the blue team as those Vanguard fire away into the distance. Whoa. Chain reaction over on this side, though, as it looks like the Geo is popped here as well, destroying all the build power as well as the E-converters as well as the fusion reactors here for Bartender and Rompy. Back and forth and back and forth. These commanders are blasting away at each other's faces here. No vision to reveal this advanced Geo, I believe. The yellow commander unable to see, that there's a Geo right there. Otherwise would definitely be targeting it down. So much of this front line would be destroyed if this Geo went to sleep. Vanguard here with 22 combined kills, but certainly responsible for quite a few more. Starlight's now blasting forward. Eager to punch through those Mammoth right here. Looks like about 9% per blast. Yeah, close to it. Starlight here carving apart those Pulsars. Or other way around. Pulsar carving apart those Starlights. And if there's one thing that... Whoa, pardon me. There's one thing the Starlights do have over the Pulsar, though. It's a rapid fire rate. It has a, big asterisk right next to it. A big conditional that it's it's rapid, given that you're comparing a Pulsar, which has probably the slowest fire rate in the game, and the Starlight just has slightly more. E-converter's coming up right now for the red commander, but actually E-stalling here. Interesting. Yeah, plenty of metal in the bank actually right now, just running out of energy. Oh no, who did I have selected? Somebody. It's a yellow commander here. No? Well, anyway. Thor now pushing forward on the front line here. Oh, massive connection from the Vanguard. Blast down a whole bunch of those Sheldon over there on that side. Turp King running away from the... Oh no, running away from the Thor. We need a D-gun. We need a D-gun and we need it yesteryear. Well, there we go. Thor now well into the backline and going to be more than happy to blast apart whatever of this that it can. Yeah, there comes the purple commander. Tix, apparently with a higher push priority than the Thor, managed to block that tank for a good minute here. Luckily, the gunships in the air kill the Tix that were blocking the Thor, meaning that it has a chance to escape. D-gun does connect. Turp King managing to blast down that Thor before it can do too much more damage. Yeah, everything considered, not actually the end of the world. This is, though. Sprinters headed towards Zoidy's base. Where's the D-gun? Oh, the D-gun, the D-gun, the D-gun! Oh, no D-gun on all those lined up Sprinters. Had a chance to save himself, but the Maroon Commander wasn't quick enough on his toes. And just like that, the Sprinters get into the base and manage to start blasting apart everything. Oh, no. Zoidy, please. The D key. D is in Delta on your keyboard, and you will D-gun down all those Sprinters and some more. You'll have a wonderful time. Your base won't even get destroyed. Well, maybe a little bit of it. Sacrificing a mech or two, though, to save your base, certainly well worth it. And you know what? On top of all that, despite all that complaining, that actually wasn't really very much damage at all. None of the mexes went down. The advanced solar stays standing. Basically just a whole pile of smoking corpses right here. I guess we lost a single T1 solar panel. Yeah, a little bit of mismicro right there. Zoidy got lucky, and relying on luck to survive is definitely not the ideal situation. Not for a strategy game, anyways. Sometimes you have to take that gamble, but you definitely don't prefer it. Nobody does. Bomber's coming up right now for Dog One is open. The Orange Commander who tried that very cheeky commando play earlier on. Looks like mostly gunships are produced right now from the Cyan Commander Kijur, the 26 open skill hero. And it looks like we're going to be, gearing up for a little bit of defense, right? Yeah, we've got Geos rebuilding in the backline here. Both the blue and green commanders trying to rebuild themselves right now, get those Geos back up and online. Everyone and their mother trying to put together their bases after a couple of attacks. If it worked once, it can work again. The Sprinter's now running out here. The pink commander not paying attention to this northern side. This is initially their lane. Covering the southern side is not their issue. And they're leaving, tons and tons of room open right here. Massive sacrifice from the Maroon Commander. Zoidy sacks the commander in order to blow up all of those Sprinter right there. Obviously a one-time deal, right? You can only make that trade once. But once you do, if it's efficient enough, you can certainly survive. And that was definitely a beautiful play right there from the Maroon Commander. Zoidy saving himself, but right now the hot pink commander the pink commander needs to get in the game right now. Start producing some of these units. We do have a T2 lab up on the line here, actually, for Zoidy. Yeah, you know what, actually, I've been blaming the pink commander, but Zoidy is the one actually producing these T2 units here. Yeah, we've got the fusion reactors, we've got the welders. These need to be moved up north. That's the line that the Sprinters are coming through. Not addressing that is fatal. Vanguard over here firing away at the bulwarks. Not sure that that's really where I'd want to put that. But again, without the geothermal was eaten up over here, or rather, at some point it was taken apart. Not bad. Big fighter clash. Whoa, bombers thinking about it. Yeah, decide to retreat. Losing their air cover, the bombers are now without a very efficient way of moving forward right now. Fighters coming out to shoot the others down. A good catch right there from the Orange Commander, managing to save those bombers. We'll be able to use them another day. A big wave. This time we don't have a commander to save us. We do have a bunch of lightning turrets, though. The pop-up Dragon's Claw might be good enough here. We'll have to see. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. barely managing to deflect these attacks right here. A single Sprinter manages to break through the line. My goodness. The Maroon Commander holding fast right now, just barely managing to lock down the center section. Bombers coming out now. Headed towards the geothermal. Ooh, no geothermal is there, though. Oh, they're not headed for a geothermal. Oh, no, indeed. They're headed directly towards the advanced fusion reactors over here. Bombs away. Ooh, it's only T1 bombers, though. Takes quite a lot of them. Turning around and doubling back. Aphis in a load of trouble, and boom goes the advanced fusion reactor for the Red Commander. Beautifully done bombing run right there. A joint effort from the Cyan and the Blue forces, both blasting apart each other. While the geothermals have been popped once more by Thors rampaging their way across the fronts here. Blue forces trying to recuperate right now, but with Titans on the field, it's only a matter of time before this front line gets destroyed. Jamakis with the D-gun manages to take down the Thor that was harassing that northern side. Titans need to be very careful. Wouldn't mind seeing a couple of Razorbacks for, yeah, just a little bit of fire support. Clear out some of this chaff a little bit easier, make sure that things go a little smoother. A couple of a couple of Shredder anti-air flak vehicles accompanying these Titans right here as well. Very cool indeed. Get one clip of these Titans walking around. Love a good Titan beam. Fire laser. Yeah, there we go. Wanted one more shot of the Titan firing its laser. Those things are so cool. Anti-air trucks are wonderful here, actually. The anti-air trucks can do more damage here than the Titans, just shredding apart this air wall, making sure that none of these fighters are available, and opening up opportunities for the air player to go in for some bomb runs. Their ability to shoot down fighter planes specifically is unparalleled. Commanders encircling the two Titans and D-gunning them down, but at the very least, those Titans managed to get these, these Shredders into the backline here, where they were able to do some serious damage. There we go. A couple of gunships blasted down. Most of the planes blasted down. Northern side has fallen as the sharpshooters have blasted through all of here. After that APHIS pop, there was no more production left. No T2 production anyways for Zoidy. It means that these sharpshooters are essentially uncontested. We do have the tick spam here as well for vision, but as soon as they get blasted away by the Titan beam, this is going to look worse and worse right now. Yeah. EMP missile even sent out. Oh. Massive EMP missile connects with 4 of those sharpshooters there, having the amount of sharpshooters available to do any damage at all. And just like that, whoa, nuclear missile connects with the Maroon Commander on the northern side. What a back and forth. Commanders at each other's throats. I was going to say another stalwart defense as a bunch of sprinters sprint forward, but now there's nothing to worry about. Well, okay, except for the sprinters taking loads of damage from the explosion of the Basilica right there, the long-range plasma cannon. Zoidy appears to have either received must have received another commander over here. Hornet gunships up in the air. Down goes the second Maroon Commander in another explosion to kill another batch of sprinters right there. It's an unorthodox way of saving yourself from sprinters, but you know what? I think I'll take it. Gunships blasting down these mammoths, but they really are the only thing. I think if we clear these gunships out, you've effectively won the push here. Air not responding quite yet. Yeah, 2 different air players. We have the orange and the pink player, both producing fighters at the same time. Meanwhile, Jamakis has just a stellar economy up here on the hillside. 5 APHIS, plenty of advanced fusion or advanced E-converters here as well, churning out bots and planes and Juno missiles and storages and all sorts of other stuff all over the place. And now those bots are going to be streaming across the map right now. Game's still basically neck and neck right here. The red team with a slight advantage of about 20 to 30-ish%. The blue team with mass reclaim, though, doing a great job of holding on. Bunch of T2 construction planes in the air as well. Would love to see these rebuilding the metal extractors. Yeah, if we get all the T2 mechs up and running, this is going to be a wonderful time. A couple of anti-air turrets coming up here, as well as some more of those metal extractors. Looks like we're going to be able to rebuild. What was that, about 20-something? Yeah, about 22,000 metal of reclaim right here in the middle of the map. Not bad whatsoever. The southern side is quite flimsy. The only thing holding it together is those gunships up in the air. If we manage to go for a big push, and I think we do have enough right now to go for a big push, we can probably break the southern side. Obviously, it's a matter of scouting, right? If you knew that there was an open lane right there, you'd push it, but because the red team doesn't, they don't. Welders to hold the front right here against the swarm of grunts marching forward. Razorbacks coming out now from Rompy in the back line. There go the Razorbacks finally marching forward. Do we have a solution? Not quite yet. Boss gunships in the air blasting away at a lot of these because they are clumped up right now. Yeah, Razorbacks having a hard time prioritizing targets, and the tick spam is dealing a lot of flanking damage. Boom goes the base over here, by the way. Loads and loads of bases go down as a bombing ring connects with the backline of the red team. Once more popping the energy, or the geothermals. Was that the third time? The third geo pop that we've seen for the red team? I think the blue team's on 4. Mammoth's now stepping forward. Razorbacks without energy to deal anything. That's the pink commander going down over here, by the way, to the spam of units. And it looks like more are on the way. The tick spam continuing to push forward into the backline here. What a back and forth. Nuclear bomb launched as well, headed towards these Razorbacks. Boom goes the nuclear missile. Blast down one of those Razorbacks at the very least. The next sprinter wave. Dancing across the battlefield here, firing their hail of bullets up into the sky and down at whatever targets that they can. Razorback here, pretty good for dealing with this. I would say probably the perfect unit for dealing with this. There we go. Lovely cleanup right there from the hot pink commander. Aphis, moments from completion. The green commander trying desperately. Oof. RPC shot directly to the Aphis. T2 cons go down right there. It's a nice catch from the orange commander. Another sharpshooter wave built up on the northern side. Loads of Twin Guard built over here as well. All right, not bad. Twin Guard going to be, yeah, sufficient, I would say, for dealing with any sort of T1 spam that's going to be coming through. Sharpshooters obviously going to dismantle them with 1,000,000,000% efficiency. Wow. Despite a basically entire game's worth of advantage, the red team now finds themselves behind by almost double the metal production. 500 metal income right now for the red team versus about 1,000.1. With no really efficient way of rebuilding these metal extractors on the front, with no very efficient way of stopping the T1 spam. The issue has become that the red team doesn't have enough efficient units all over the map here. We need Razorbacks basically at every jump point. Whoa, Aphis. Taking damage right here, 65% on that green Aphis. More Razorbacks coming out right now. The blue team's still mounting up for a massive push. Reed Sweet, pardon me, not Reed Sweet. Jamakis getting my OP players mixed up. Jamakis going for a couple more Aphis here. Why not finish off the bunch as, yeah, we round out the rest of this game here. Off of 9 Aphis economy, going to go ahead and start spamming out more and more units and eventually get into some more of those airplanes. There's basically one more big opportunity right here, and this is it. Oh, the air battle is won. Yeah, the orange player has won the air battle, or the large majority of it anyway. The bombers are in trouble. Oh no! Jamakis, prioritizing the bombers, manages to blast them down and win the air fight both at the same time, denying the very last bombing run that was going to be the saving grace here of the red team. The last opportunity I think they had to equalize this game, shot out of the sky ruthlessly by the T2 fighters, spammed out of those labs right here in the back line by the blue commander. Razorback still cutting apart this front here. Switch to a shallow angle to watch some of this mayhem happening. Ultimately, though, this is where the story is told. Sharpshooters slowly but coolly walking their way forward on the northern side. You can see those Twin Guard happy to blast away at these ticks, la 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 la, unaware of the fact that they are mere moments away from a rail cannon fired directly through their entire being. Is the sharpshooter a rail cannon? I guess it's not, right? Legion uses rail cannons, but Armada wouldn't dare. It's got to be some other type of tech. Maybe it's a warp tech. It fires the bullet out of reality and back into reality inside of you. And then the phasing back end of the projectile causes a massive explosion and tremendous damage. There we go. Easily popping all of these, all of the LLTs over here, all the twin guard medium laser turrets. Beautifully done. Welders now on top of the Aphises. Sharpshooters, no reason to lose them here, but I guess we will. That's a bit of a bummer. No reason those had to go down like that, but anyways. Still sufficient damage to completely turn off the orange commander. That's the Air Force is gone, and Jamakis realizes it immediately, sends in the fighters to mop up the remaining air. And of course, as soon as the air is dealt with, a bombing run should be taking place immediately. I'm expecting we queue up bombers almost as soon as we finished off the air player there. We're still dealing with the last APHIS here, by the way. Welders making very short work of it. Couple percent per blast, but there's quite a few of them, and boom! The sharpshooter stealing the kill right there and detonating that very last orange APHIS. Now only the brown commander remains, and we'll go ahead and speed this game up because with an overwhelming mental advantage of about 1,000 or so, while the red teams is continuing to plummet, I think this match is certainly headed towards its end game. Blue first is pushing forward. The Razorbacks continuing to hold against the spam over here, but it's really just a temporary measure. Sharpshooters more than... Well, okay, you know what? I spoke too soon. Sharpshooters jumped on top of by the Razorback over here, as well as a bunch of these ticks. The ticks are quite good for draining those sharpshooters. But at this point, the red team is backed into a corner with no real way to get out of the corner. They're just hoping and praying. Going for one last desperation push right now. Razorbacks marching forward. Wasps in the air, though. Like a swarm, they come out of their hive and they start blasting, launching missiles left and right and melting down those Razorbacks. My goodness. What an efficient trade right there. Thor taking heavy damage here as well, about 1% per second going down on that Thor. While the Razorbacks have reinforced the northern sharpshooters over here, going to be wonderful for dealing with all of that tick spam up here. Razorbacks, about as efficient as it gets as far as dealing with ticks are concerned. Base over here goes down. Dogwood is open and Tortoise, the last two remaining commanders. Now only the orange commander remains. Ladies and gentlemen, after a back-and-forth brawl with multiple in-base explosions, the AGOs popping left, right, and center, the blue team manages to take the victory in today's game. What a wonderful showcase of the skills here on both sides of these teams. Eventually, Jamakis, managing to retreat backwards and build a stellar economy in the backline, will be able to help his team secure the victory in today's game of Beyond All Reason. Produce most resources, 100,000, 51 million resources produced right there. We'll take a look at these graphs, but thanks a ton for watching, and I sure hope you enjoyed. And I sure hope to see you in the very next cast of Beyond All Reason. Peace out, everybody.